Fourth and Forever has made it all the way to beautiful Birmingham, Alabama, just 1 hour away from Tuscaloosa, where the Crimson Tide call home, and where Steve Sarkeesian and Mac Jones lit up defenses like a Christmas tree. He was his coordinator at Alabama, so let's see what made them so successful as Crimson Tide. Sitting down with Mac Jones, thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely.
I understand you got a lot going on apparently, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some big job opportunities in your future. I mean, things are funneling towards San Francisco, but at this point, who knows, right?
Yeah.
So we were just getting into, right before we started filming, you were talking about all these Zoom meetings, and we were talking about getting ready for the Combine and how things are so different this year. Talk about these Zoom meetings, because I remember some of the weirdest stuff that I experienced. You know, the whole point of this Combine is to find out what's wrong, right? Like, you've done everything so well. Now it's, okay, why can't you be our quarterback?
True.
Let's poke at him, prod at him, and find out where he's deficient, right?
Yeah.
So how has that been virtually?
Yeah.
You said you got 2 camera setups. How does that work?
Yeah, honestly, I got a tripod, and I have like a whiteboard camera. So most of the teams, you talk to them, introduce yourself, tell me about your family, this and that. And then they want to get into talking ball. And it's easy for me. I just have my tripod, look straight at the whiteboard, hop up there, hey, draw this, or whatever the situation may be. And it just makes it easier when you have like 2 cameras. So a lot of guys probably just have the one, but for me, it's just easier, drawing it up there and then ask questions about the plays.
A little bit like speed dating,
yeah,
right?
Literally.
Like, tell me everything about you and then let me know if we're a good fit.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they get an hour, but I mean, it's different probably from when you had to do it, but we get it done. I mean, they learn about you and then talk ball, and it just depends. Sometimes they want to learn about you for 45 minutes and talk 15 minutes of ball, but some teams are the opposite. So
how about weirdest question, toughest question you got?
Yeah. I mean, one of the interesting ones I got was like, if you didn't have success in the NFL, what would that be attributed to? So I was like kind of thinking about it. And I was like, that's a pretty hard question to answer, because you don't want to be like, well, I'm not going to not have success, but...
And success is relative in some ways.
Exactly, but I didn't really even know how to answer it. I was like, I mean, hopefully I don't get injured, but that probably wouldn't help, and other things like that. But that was a tough one for me.
I remember the big one when I was coming out was like, what do you hate most about football?
Yeah.
I was like, and everybody kind of says losing.
Yeah.
That kind of became the answer.
Cliche.
So everybody like coached you up to say like losing, and then it just kind of found its way out of the questioning.
Literally.
Out of the interrogation. It's just like, all right, we got that
one.
one.
They found the loophole.
So we sat down with your offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkeesian, yesterday, and he had nothing but great things to say about you and the way you process. What was so interesting to me is how efficient you are with your deep ball throws.
Yeah.
And I mean, deep ball accuracy, like you can win with, 30%, hitting like 30% of your deep balls if you're efficient in your intermediate and underneath throws.
Yeah.
Do you know where you finish with your deep ball accuracy?
When we were talking about it, I mean, like 59% or whatever you said.
59%, which is astronomical.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so Tua Tagovailoa, you know him.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, Haskins, and Burrow were some of the best. Okay,
Yeah.
look at these stats. Tua's 52%, and he threw a great deep ball. Kyler's 45. These guys are mid and low 40s. Joe Burrow, number 1 pick overall. I mean,
that is crazy. I knew it was good, but I never saw the other numbers.
I mean, so it felt like as the season went on, just like any quarterback, when you're playing well and you kind of hit your groove, there's like a confidence to you. There's a little, Jason Garrett used to say, like, you got to have a little shit in your neck. Yeah. And like at first, when I first heard it, I was like, that's kind of weird. But like, you got to have something to you to play this position. And it seemed like Sark was just like pulling that out of you. The momentum, the wave you guys are riding was there. How does that not get too big? How do you have this incredible discernment of when to throw it, when not to throw it on these deep shots?
Yeah, I think Sark obviously did a good job calling the right plays at the right time, but I always knew on like the first and second down deep shots that I could check the ball down whenever I had to. So he never, pushed me to do it or not do it. He just said, it's first and second down. Don't feel bad if you A, throw it away, or B, hit a running back or tight end on a check down. So I always knew I had that like safety blanket. And sometimes I think, maybe other teams or whatever, they just force it down there.
Right.
And there was only a very few, less than a handful of times that I did that. So I just had that confidence in, all right, Sark's not going to be mad at me if I don't hit it, but I also have the go to hit it. So you kind of got the green light. and then you can also hit the red light and check it down.
Yeah.
So I just felt like that definitely helped, and having a good line obviously helps.
Yeah,
when you can get it down the field and all that stuff. But it was a lot of fun to be able to throw it deep.
And it was clear you were so comfortable in your own skin this last season.
Yeah.
But getting there, right? Because it was a process to get there, and it takes a long time. I'm sure there was some, lonely nights where you're like, man, I'd love to be playing somewhere.
Right.
Multiple years, you sit, watch Jalen Hurts, watch Tua. So did you get a chance to iron out some of those decision-making things in practice? Like, because Sark made a point of you banking reps. So how much did that help you, banking those reps, watching those guys?
Yeah, I think like that term is a great term because you're kind of putting it in your pocket. You got an investment on the reps. So even when Tua or Jalen or somebody, even a scout team guy like me or whatever, we went in there and messed up versus whatever coverage, I would remember, okay, well, Jalen tried this because we run generally the same plays.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Jalen tried this versus cover 2. I'm not going to try it, but I remember the specific reps.
Sure.
It was just good to sit in there and learn and just not let things go over my head. And one guy's a starter, but everyone has to be ready to roll. I mean, you know that, but I just learned from them. And then obviously the best way to learn is messing up yourself.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you have to get in there and do it yourself. But when you can have those years of almost like you already were the starter, but you weren't just getting the reps. So that helped in a way, but it's hard to sit there, like you said, and just wait and like, all right, I can do this. I can make this throw.
And then with Coach Saban, would he just ever like come to you on scout team? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I mean, my man rules with an iron fist now.
Literally.
Like, just like, or did he say thank you for helping the defense? Like, what was that dynamic like?
Deep down inside, like he definitely loved it, but he couldn't like just let me do my own thing. So he had to yell at me, a couple hat throws, couple like.
Nice.
Yeah, him ripping me or whatever. But like at the end of the day, I wasn't just gonna sit back and throw a pick to the guy that's circled on the card.
Isn't that the worst? Like on scout team where they're like, hey, just give us a look here.
Literally.
I'm like, hey, I can't just practice. That's like practicing air balls.
Literally.
And playing basketball. Like, I can't do that.
That is a great analogy.
Yeah. That's really funny.
I mean, it was fun on the scout team, but I was gonna compete and everyone else competed really hard too.
Yeah.
Even the walk-on guys or third string or whatever. You might as well have fun and challenge the defense. We had a pretty good defense that year.
Oh, God. No doubt. That had to be zero fun on scout team. So with Jalen there, what was one of your favorite moments watching him? One of the best things you learned? Like, what attribute from him did you try and take?
I just loved how like even-keeled he was.
Yeah.
Like he still is like that and always has been like that.
Stoic.
But just literally, like something good happens, you might get like a maybe with Jalen something bad. It's like, all right, and then that's it. Like you could throw a pick or something in a SEC West game and he wouldn't even be flustered.
Yeah.
So I just really enjoyed watching that. And obviously his playmaking ability, like you never knew in like a scrimmage or a game, Jalen would boom, take off and he's out the gate for 50 yards.
Yeah.
And no one's getting him on the ground.
Kind of like you.
Yeah, right?
So what is that?
Or something.
Yeah, what's up with this, lack of athleticism? I mean, there's plays all over the tape. Like, did you remind these guys, hey, bro, I played tennis growing up, so did Drew Brees. I'm grilling him about like an NFL comp, like who's he like? Who's he like? What do you think? So, well, nobody complains about Matt Ryan. I mean, I love Matt Ryan. I thought Matt Ryan's a great quarterback. That's what Mac is. Yeah. He goes, nobody complains about Matthew Stafford's athleticism. Like that's where Mac is. Like,
no, I agree.
Like, damn, you're in a quarterback class with guys running 4.4s. So I ran a 4.88. So you're faster than that. Yeah. So I was like, dang. I mean, this guy, I'm scared to come out now. This is like, these guys are flying. Right. So is that just overblown? Like, because there's a 5-yard kind of box, right? This short area quickness idea.
Absolutely.
You just got to move just enough. And Sark said you had this ability to move just enough where you keep your body in a throwing position. Yeah. You're on the right platform, and then you avoid just enough. Yeah. Where does that come from? Is that something drilled into you? Is that from tennis? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's a feel thing, but honestly, I worked really hard in drills and really just doing a lot of stuff by myself, and obviously some stuff we did in practice with Sark and having the freedom to do that. Like I said, it wasn't always, all right, you have to take a 3-step right here. Like obviously we'd have the right drop, but if I had to drift, it'd be fine. And the other thing is, like you said, it helps the receivers because they know that I'm not going to just put the ball down and run.
Right,
So they're
right.
always like, they can get the ball if they're the fourth read, if they're the first read. So that's something for me is they're always going to run hard because they know I'm just going to slide just enough to where I can get the ball down the field.
Yeah.
But with some guys, I mean, no names said, but like, you know, you drop your eyes and you're missing a dig route on your fourth read.
No
and it's
doubt.
like, okay, yeah, you can run really fast, but can you get the ball to the guy that's even faster than you are?
No doubt.
So he can go
No
make
doubt.
the play. Like, I'd rather have them make a handoff to them down the field in a way so they can go make the yards.
I got a little that flip play from Ohio State. I thought you were going to fake it and just take off.
Yeah, I was
the middle.
about to, but yeah, they had the little hole player, and I saw him kind of go to the middle.
Yeah, right. That was nice. That was nice. So when it starts to break down, because you're so good at using your eyes, not just manipulating defenders downfield. I got some good clips of that. Holding safeties, holding corners, whatever, using a quick pump fake. But when you attack the line of scrimmage and remain a passer, what's your thought process? Because it looks very clean. Like, I'm looking for this. If not, I'm gone. What's going through your head?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be a passer until the last second, so last millisecond. So yeah, that's literally, it could be that much time, and a guy could get that open.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it's always keep your eyes up. I remember there's like a book out there by Terry Shea called Eyes Up. And like, I remember looking at it, it's like, if you don't have your eyes up, you're never going to make any good plays. So like, for me, that kind of always stuck with me. Is just.
When did you read that?
I mean, I was young. One of my quarterback coaches, Joe D.
Okay.
You know, he ran a camp and kind of brought it up. So I looked through
Eyes
it.
up. All you young quarterbacks
out
there. Eyes up.
Yeah,
Let's go.
So
don't look at the ground. That's cool. Thank you, Coach D. You taught me something. I love it.
Literally. So.
Where was this guy when I was playing?
He was around.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'm so curious about this because we got to sit down with Steve Young. We got to sit down with some other quarterbacks, and you stuck this thing out. Sark spoke to your perseverance.
Yeah.
He said, you banked these reps over time, but you prepared like a starter over time. He said he likened it to when I got a chance to play because Leinart was there my first year. Yeah. John David Booty was there. I filled in a couple times just like you did for Tua.
Yeah,
and then when I got my chance to play for my 1 year, I was ready. I was ready. I was prepared. I knew the system. I was confident. And then as the season went on, you just ride this wave and the trajectory goes up.
Yes.
But I remember sitting in my dorm room, sitting in my apartment in college, like, damn, man, I want to play.
Right.
I know this stuff. I'm making flashcards. I'm drawing plays. Like, you know, I don't want to do scout team anymore. You know, I'm ready to go. Yeah. And so it's one, you know, sentence on your Wikipedia page that, oh, Mac Jones sat for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
But that feels like a lifetime at times. Speak about, you know, the mental ups and downs during that time.
Yeah.
You know, wavering confidence at that time. Because I remember I experienced that. I was just like, man, maybe I'm not good enough. I got to be good enough. I got to play. You know, so you're fighting all this.
Right.
What was that like for you? Because it seems like forever.
Yeah, I think coming in, obviously from a physical standpoint, I really wasn't ready to play. So I kind of knew early on, at least, like I had to get better. So weight room, film, whatever I could do, find anything, find somebody to watch or a pro guy or whatever. So I always did that. But then, like, you know, time goes on, you're in your redshirt sophomore, redshirt, you know, whatever year. And you're like, all right, I want to get on the field. Like, I didn't ever complain about not playing to like any of the coaches or anything, but if you're competitive, you want to be on the field.
Right.
You want to help the team, most importantly. But for me, a lot of long nights, like throwing into a net or getting on my whiteboard or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And those kind of turn into, all right, now the receivers are coming out and throwing with me, even though I'm still the backup or third string. And then now I'm a starter and there's, you know, 10 guys out there throwing with me. So it just kind of progresses like that. And you turn the long nights, like you talked about, into like great days on Saturdays. So honestly, it was just a lot of like just time by myself, but also time, you know, getting the respect of my teammates, which they see that weight room, classroom, film room, whatever, but the extra time, especially when you're the backup, you got to put it in because you don't get all those reps. So.
No doubt. Who were your favorite pros to watch? Sark used to make us cut-ups. Did he still make cut-ups for you?
A little bit,
You watch some of those guys? Okay.
Yeah, we would watch like, you know, whatever, you know, Drew Brees or Brady or whoever, Matt Ryan. So for me, I like watching Tom Brady, honestly. Like the way he maneuvers in the pocket and how like precise he is and pre-snap, post-snap reads. So I like watching him, but I also like watching like, you know, the Brett Favres of the world or Aaron Rodgers or people who are really, really creative. So, yeah, I kind of.
Your guy, Mark Brunell. I thought you were a Jacksonville guy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my man. We used to,
Mark Brunell growing up. There we go.
I love it. He's your guy, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
true. I mean,
the teal is real.
Yeah.
That's what he used to tell me all the time. He goes, don't you sleep on the teal. The teal's real.
I love it.
Yeah. You guys have this arsenal of receivers. Can all of them be number ones? Can Devontae Smith and Jalen both be number ones if they go somewhere, or would one of them be better suited as a 2? How does that work? How do you think that plays out for you? Just kind of situation specific, or?
Yeah, I think Smitty, he can play out wide, very well. He blocks well. He can also play slot, as we saw Sark moving him around and stuff. But with Waddle, I mean, he's smaller, but I've seen him play outside perfectly fine. But in the slide, it just creates that mismatch with the star or dime guy.
So quick.
Where it's just, you can't even do anything about it.
Yeah.
You have to play corners over or put 2 guys on them to stop them. So they're like interchangeable in a way, but honestly, the teams are going to need them to step up if they're going to be, first round guys, which they are. And they're going to make plays right away. You put them in the backfield for all I know.
Dude,
and they'll make something happen.
They look great. What about when you watch your guys' tape, you guys are moving pre-snap so much. I mean, shifts, motions, fake motions, fake,
Boomerangs.
like boomerangs. That's what Sark said yesterday, where he's like going to go around the whole formation and then come back. What's all that about? I mean, you're just comfortable with that. It looked like you were totally in control. Even when guys screwed it up, you'd give them the sign, like, hey, all right, everybody stop,
Reload it.
Give me a 20-second timeout here. You stand here, you stand over here, please.
Literally.
All right, we good? Let's go. But that takes time. That takes confidence. That takes reps.
I think, Sark did a really good job of it and practicing it. And, it looked really hard, but it really wasn't, because it was the same formations. We were just adding, which is hard, but we're adding shifts and motions, bumps, jumps, moving the back. But at the end of the day, it just takes reps, and we got comfortable with it. And like you said, sometimes it's like, okay, all right, I forgot this one, or not me, but other people around me. I'm like, hey, slow down. All right, it's this formation, go over there. Like, forget the shift, forget the motion, stay there.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of it. But, if you're going to do shifts, bumps, and motions and all that, you also have to be able to correct it as a quarterback. So obviously Sark showed a lot of trust in me, but it's also because he, coached me really well. So I knew exactly where they were shifting to, why they were shifting there, what I could get, most importantly, from the defense.
See, that's where I was hoping you would go with the answer, because it's so important that if you do it just for window dressing, then you're doing it just to do it.
Right.
But if you're gaining information, trying to get a half-man advantage, whatever, on a boomerang to throw him a quick swing, we got that one coming up in your film preview for you. But those things were
it makes it easier. It looks hard, but it makes it easier because you're getting the information that you need, and people are evolving. Defenses are playing corners over man or zone, and playing linebackers playing a zone on a running back. So it looks like man, but it might be zone. So you got to be careful with doing that, and people watch your tape and figure out what you do. So by the end of the day, no one really could figure it out because we were one step ahead. So
it's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome to watch. All right, let's watch some of that tape.
Sweet.
All right, we're going to rip through some of this film. The most important thing I saw on this play, empty formation. You look very comfortable in empty. A basic NFL play, 9-yard stop, seams, and then some sort of choice route by your guy over the middle, who you think's going to be pretty good, huh?
Yeah, Slade.
He's pretty good. He's a good player. But I loved just your subtle movement. Is this drill work?
It's a feel thing. I mean, you're in 5-man pro, so you might have to slide a little bit, especially with games, but they're just playing like 6 buzz. So I kind of knew I could take the hitch if I wanted it. And the seam, maybe, that safety's going to be waiting on him. And then Slade's over the ball, so I just had to find a way to get it to Slade right there. So I recognized where my third read was.
Yeah.
And then just boom, boom.
And it looks like your eyes are up. You feel the game. You're not watching the game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And the game, we're talking, obviously, these end going first and then the tackle hitting it around after. But you're staying on platform and then not being afraid, knowing you're going to maybe take a shot there?
Yes.
I'm a believer, and you need about 1.5 yards of movement in the pocket to create space for yourself. And Mac really bought into that. And he never panicked and felt like he moved too far or just completely flushed the pocket. Thought there's just a good feel here. And one thing that he did do a really nice job of, over 2 years of him playing, even the year before when he was the backup, he never flinched at free rushers.
Yeah.
He always stood his ground. There was a lot of contact courage involved, knowing he was going to get hit, and remained really accurate.
Let's talk about some of these RPOs, because Sark likened it to a second baseman.
Right.
turn in a double play. Like, your hands got to be quick.
Exactly.
And it goes back to the old adage. It's like, does he throw a catchable ball?
Yeah.
And that was something Bill Walsh had said to me years ago.
And you see it. I mean, a lot of these guys, you throw that ball a little bit behind them, and you leave some meat on the bone, and now it's a first down. It's a good play, but that should have scored, kind of thing.
I only have so many of those on my call sheet, you know?
As soon as you get your read key, it looks like number 6 in the box here is your read key, and your eyes are on them with the mesh point, trust in the back.
Yeah.
Talk about these RPOs and why you're so comfortable with them.
Yeah, we rep these a lot, like almost every first throw in practice. You know, get a couple RPOs and quick ball out type things.
Yeah.
Like, so you work it and it's just a natural throw.
And he got a year under his belt with me backing up Tua, and I think those banked reps in practice really helped him. It's all part of the development piece, right? That's the whole idea of when you play great.
Yep.
This is a great example of just recognizing the coverage, going from one high, and then the safeties rotating, staying in one high, and now working the RPO with kind of that bubble slant action and throwing it off the safety skying down. So again, just really good vision, trusting his mesh point and his footwork with the running back that the runner's going to get to where he needs to get to so that he can keep his eyes on his read key and then ultimately deliver, again, another really accurate ball.
I mean, he's barely even moving in the pocket. Like, his feet just quickly shuffle, ball's out. I love that. This is great.
Right here, you can tell it's a loaded box, so I just mesh the ball to get the backers to suck up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then throw the ball over the top, but why did my foot go behind? So I get mad about that. And then, of course, me.
So you're nitpicky on yourself. You're your own worst critic, huh?
Oh, yeah. I was like, what am I doing?
You know, we say it all the time in coach speak, a yard in front of his front number, right? That's where we want this ball thrown. But that's where this ball is getting thrown, right? He never breaks stride. It's a catch and run opportunity. It's a 1st and 10 call, and we get 12.
Free yards, man.
I think it's just him recognizing, again, we got man coverage. All right, how did he play it? He's caught behind, ball's out.
Bam. Sark said you were one of the best at the accuracy on these underneath throws, in and around the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's
he always says yard in front of the front number kind of thing, and you're, just to keep them moving.
Yeah, it goes back to like bank reps, whether it's routes on air or whatever, but it's really a skill. Like, it looks easy, but if you throw that here, he's going to get tackled right there, and we got to play a new set of downs. So
yeah, exactly.
It allows him to catch and run.
Sark said in the meetings during the week, he said, this might score.
Yeah.
This could score.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we used to predict for sure.
Yeah, right? You got to pick your play. You got to pick your scores.
Yeah, so this is another empty 3rd down.
I love this because I don't think there's enough said. You run these routes on air in practice and you have space. You know, it's 5, it's rhythmic, it's hitch and throw. But this is more commonplace in a game than a rhythmic 5 hitch and throw. Guys are in your face. You can't fully step into the throw. You got to kind of short step it, give it as much juice as you can. And you clearly have the arm strength to do that. Where does this comfort level come from? Because you look so comfortable here.
Honestly, it's just knowing where to go with the ball. So if I didn't know where to go, then maybe you get a little more antsy or whatever. But they're playing like a double buzz look here. Kind of just boom.
Right off the back foot, plenty of juice on that. And then the anticipation too, knowing he's going to be in the right spot, that comes with reps, practice.
Absolutely. Because he has a read on this play too.
Yeah.
You know,
he can sit, right?
If he thought it was zone, he could sit down more, which it's kind of zone and man a little bit. He's getting matched in a way, so.
Like a matching zone,
Yeah, so he's doing a good job.
More motion, more shifts. Holy cow, you guys can't stay static. Now it's the next step of this RPO game, right? So you're not only reading a potential lineman or backer to know handoff or throw.
Right.
But now it's handoff, throw 1 or throw 2.
Yeah.
It's
really
like you're just adding layers and stuff because of all the guys you got in the route.
Right.
It's like run, play action.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff. And people be like, oh, it's just a slant. But it really isn't just a slant. There's a lot that goes into it. And we were running a lot of bubbles. So this was the complement off the bubble.
Yeah.
The slant with the bubble. And then on the backside, we got a little like 9 stop.
Is your throwaway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Slash, if you really love it.
So again, we're getting an indicator. We're getting post-high defense. So again, if they were coming to bump the slot, we had a little bit of an adjustment off of the bubble action to kind of slip it and come back inside.
Yeah. The quick
but if you notice that little pump fake kind of to the bubble and then slipping the guy back inside and keeping his feet underneath him, you know, those are little things that comes with confidence, right? That comes with running plays and knowing how much time you have to get them done.
Notre Dame actually picked up on my motion indicator. It's like when I would go behind, they would roll their safety down.
Oh, late.
So we made the adjustment, Sark and I, kind of were like, hey, let's throw a slant behind it when he's
So this was
down.
in game?
Yeah, this was an in-game adjustment.
Nice. Okay, Sarky.
Yeah, it was nice. There's actually another story off this play. We were playing A&M.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even the starter 2 years ago at A&M. So we ran this play, and we hit it a few times. And then we literally drew it up on the whiteboard to run the sluggo off of it, and then Ruggs scored. And like we literally drew it up in the dirt. That was the backup, and I just went up to Sark, and I was like, "That's what I'm talking about."
So what did you do after this one? Did you give him like the gun hand? Did you just give, or was it like a golfer at the Masters, just a quick
just
little,
a nice little.
hey, like thanks gallery. You know, what do you give him?
No, I mean on this one, it's just a great play. I mean,
A big old man hug. You just cheese out.
It's a great play, but it's like more about how we adjusted that fired me up. You know what I'm saying?
And then Coach Saban was like, all right, I'm cool with it. Just don't screw it up.
Yeah, literally. If it doesn't work, then we both get.
Then we got problems.
We get ripped.
This is what I was talking about, the discernment of getting rid of the ball. You get a pressure on a run action here. It's essentially like a waggle with pulling the backside guard. You got a shot play called. You're in the high red. It's 1st and 10 like you talked about.
Yeah.
So it's touchdown to check down mentality. And this one, your check down's even essentially covered. But right there, I mean, it's just no problem saying, Uncle. Sark used to say it when we were in school, don't make me chicken salad out of chicken shit, right?
Literally.
Did he ever hit you with those?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
that was like not as much, but I remember that one. Don't make a bad play worse.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. Don't make a bad play a tragedy,
Yeah,
right?
He would say like fender bender into fatality.
Yes, yes. Like he's like you pull up to an intersection and there's a crash already. Don't just go run into it, right? Like put on the brakes and stop the car. You know, get out, maybe assess the situation. He's like throw the ball away, move on with your life. How hard is what Mac Jones does right here for quarterbacks? I know it's hard, but what does he do? He just sails this thing in the 3rd row, and you're like, oh, that's a boring play. But this has to happen. If you can't run a 4.4, you got to be able to do this. How is he able to say uncle?
Well, I just think, A, you need to fail a few times not saying uncle, right?
Right.
And you need to try to scramble around and take a sack here, A, and then put yourself in 2nd and 20 football, which there's no good call on any call sheet for 2nd and 20. And it's not fun playing quarterback in 2nd and 20.
Right.
B, you try to force a throw off your back foot and ultimately possibly throw a pick. And so you got to learn the hard way that way. But through maturity, and he's gotten a lot of banked reps throughout his career, it's, you know what, it's 1st and 10. We're in the high red. Coach Sark's taking a shot here. I don't have it. I'm going to throw it away. And we can live in 2nd and 10 football. And I think that this is just a great example of just kind of where he's at from a cerebral standpoint of understanding the game.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay, we're going to get you on a slip and slide.
Yeah.
Teach you how to slide. We got to work on the slide a little bit. I mean,
well, this is a funny story about
my man
slide.
came in hot on this.
This is a funny story. So if you notice on his left leg,
he's got a bandage.
He's already
or
got it bandaged. So he goes to run it. We've talked quite a bit about this. You know, with the new rule, when you go to slide, you're declared down as soon as you initiate the slide.
Right.
And we talked a lot about just utilizing a little bit more of a dive as opposed to a slide. Well, here he comes, and he's stuck between a dive and a slide. He doesn't want to rip his leg up anymore. Just kind of a gallop. I'm not sure whose slide was worse, him or Matt Leinert's. But the reality of it is he's trying to protect himself.
Go ahead.
So
explain yourself.
So it's 3rd down. I'm pure progression. Okay, nothing's there. I run. I was gonna dive. So like I was gonna jump and dive. So that's why I jumped up in the air. Because if you slide, they mark you down. So I didn't really know where I was. So I tried to jump.
You knew you were past the stick, but other than that, it was like,
exactly.
Whatever. Everything after this is like, gravy.
Exactly. But
oh dear. Oh no.
Yeah, so that was
okay.
At least it was the 1st down.
How about throwing on the run?
Yeah, this is something I've been working on a lot, especially in the off season, and you know this is kind of one time that we did it in the red zone. Really, I mean, we did it a few times, but this is a hard throw. He's
really accurate on the run. You know, we utilized it quite a bit with him this year. Off-schedule throws that showed up. You know, people don't know about him. You know, he grew up a tennis player.
Yeah.
So that movement, a lot of those movements from tennis, I think, really correlate to him throwing on the run really well. But he was definitely very accurate on the move.
He's starting to like run away with this thing and leave it up in the air. He's got something to him.
He definitely's got a little moxie.
Yeah, like,
you know,
little shit to him.
Yeah, no,
but you need that.
You have to.
I feel like you knew it right there.
Yeah.
Because I see you doing your little fadeaway.
Yeah.
I see you just, like you're backpedaling down the court after just, that three-pointer's going in.
Yeah, true. I mean, this is just
You were feeling it.
Yeah, this is a feel play. I mean, honestly, you got to throw it right to the right spot.
Oh, yeah.
Or else, he's got to.
I think it might have hit the top of the pylon.
Yeah, literally. That's what my rule was, hit the pylon, so.
That was awesome.
I don't know if I could got much better.
So how many of these did you throw into a net? How many of these did you work on with this guy? I mean, we're talking a couple or hundreds?
Well, we put this play in a little bit later, but the reason Sark put this back in was in the springtime when like COVID was going on.
Yeah.
We were running like one-on-ones in the red zone. We kept running fades. And I was like, we should put in a fade comeback.
Yeah.
So like, there we go. Like however many months later.
And with the sprint out. Isn't that wild how
it's crazy.
It ends up
and
playing
Sark
out?
Listened. It's like some coordinators would be like, oh,
Sure.
screw you. You know?
No doubt.
But at least he
No
listened
doubt.
to what we had to say.
Okay, we can't do only good plays. There's a bad one coming up. Don't worry.
There we go. I like
Change
bad
it up
plays,
a little
too.
bit. Okay, this was the naked. You guys end up coming back kind of and hitting. Watch, number 5 looks like he's just playing the motion.
Yeah.
And boom, he comes off the edge.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Sark took a little credit for this one.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Thanks,
Just so you know.
Sark.
Well, this was really on me. I probably should have checked out of this. We didn't have a built-in check for him on the play, so I'm going to take a little coaching error on this one.
Boom, you try and get the ball away from him, which I understand, and there goes the ball out.
Yeah.
What are you thinking right there? Ball's out, you're getting
I'm a dead man. I mean, he's got me.
You're like, oh. I mean, it's the worst feeling in the world. Just
I
getting
could
yanked
see it,
around,
too.
thrown down like.
Just like a little, I don't know, like an ornament falling on the ground during Christmas or something. You can't really do anything about it, but you just hope that somebody jumps on it.
And then when you get back to the sideline, what was your demeanor?
We scored on the next drive, so that all goes back to just recalculating, and you're going to get mad about that play, but just play the next play.
Here's one thing I've always loved about Mac, even from the year before when he got he started a few games and started the Auburn game. This play in the national championship game could have sent some guys into a spiral, right? He comes right back off. He comes off the field. There's the turnover. He comes off the field. He gets the guys together. Hey, we're going to be okay. It's my fault. We'll settle it down. And he comes right back out the very next drive. Bang, we go score. And I think that just lends to football's a game of adversity, right?
Yep.
How we respond to that adversity is what's so critical to our success moving forward. And I thought he always handled adversity really, really well.
Yeah. And then what's your process right after that bad play? Like, I got to breathe 5 times. What's your...
I usually do like breathing, like Navy SEAL breathing.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then, if Sark knows I'm kind of mad, he'll let me do my own thing, and Saban will come up to me and, all right, we're good, let's go. And it's like, all right, new play. So it takes a little bit, but...
Okay, so they're running the same blitz. Did you have any reservations? Like, oh, baby, we might have the same result. Like, oh, hold up.
Yeah, this is really the same idea, like half roll. And I saw him come free.
Same dude.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah.
Baron Browning. And I was like, all right, I got to get this one out. I'm not letting him get me again. So I knew someone's got to cover the back. I don't know if he thought he had the back or what their rules were, but I saw it and I knew, all right, Najee's going to be wide open. So
that was awesome.
Just kind of an instinctual.
It's a little fadeaway, dude.
Yeah, a little fadeaway jumper. Shout out to Jordan.
This is
great.
The stripe on your helmet is telling me the story.
Yeah.
Because I can see where your eyes are looking and where you're moving this deep safety.
Yep.
What's that all about? How did you know?
Yeah,
it's a matchup thing, a speed thing. Where are you going?
Yeah, so like it's speed. We have 3 speed guys on the left side of the formation. So our defense rarely does it, but it's called like 3 up is 3 defense. So the Mike has to carry 3 speed up, vertically.
Yep.
It was just a really good play call on our side, but you also have to move that safety, otherwise he'll
Or sits on top because he knows where he's got to help. Yeah, and his weakness of his defense.
He just saw my eyes and was like, this guy's about to throw whatever, maybe that dig or.
And then the trajectory of the ball, like
just lay
it up enough where this guy can't recover, right?
Exactly.
It can't be a moonshot.
Right.
But it can't be at the linebacker's head.
Yeah.
That was impressive, man. Eyes. I love it. I mean, you're throwing that middle seam.
Yeah.
You're not throwing the crosshash. You're throwing out here.
Yeah.
If I'm the safety and I'm watching this, keep that in your arsenal because these defensive backs, especially young quarterbacks, they're going to look right where they got to go. Hey, man, this guy tells you everywhere he's going to go with the ball. So
yeah, my dad actually, my dad had never played football, but like I was in high school and I would stare people down. And he was like, just use your eyes, like look off, He's like, you got to do the look off. He loves the look off.
I love it.
Text me after the scrimmage and be like, look off more. Like that. But I mean, there's a lot of people.
Is that a tennis thing too? Because I don't play much tennis,
really.
but is it like
you can't really do a no look, but I guess if you're like hitting a volley and you
Yeah,
look
right?
the other way, I don't know, but
Okay. Still play tennis at all?
a little bit. If I can get out there, I'll get out there.
Go mess around. Here's another play that, I mean, you're going to run in the NFL at some point, but this halfback option, go through your mentality, because I said this to Sark. I was like, I remember the day you installed this for some reason, but it was essentially like, especially to your left, you're resetting and ready to throw an out-breaking route, and you react to everything else,
Correct.
right? I mean, that's the way he still installs it.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, damn, how'd you remember that? I was just like, dude, you just,
this is, buzz again. So for me, I knew I was going to get a one-on-one with the linebacker on the back, but you also have to worry about the buzz player. So if he did get involved, I'd come back to the comeback. But I mean, Najee crushed the guy, so.
Yeah.
He could honestly sit versus zone, but I see what he's doing, and he did a good job getting open.
And you confirmed it, and then I thought the placement of the ball without forcing him too far in front.
And then get smoked by safety.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is still a called run, just
Split
flow,
zone,
outside zone. Yeah.
Yep.
So essentially here, you got a loaded box. You're going to start counting cows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, why mess around with all this traffic in here? Let's just go one-on-one up top. What's your mentality on back shoulders? Because this is impressive throw, man.
I kind of saw him really moving and shut him down is how I describe it.
Shut him down.
The receiver.
Okay, make him throttle down. I like that. Okay, great. Because some guys are saying throw it at this, throw it there. I like that.
Just put it to where he can shut down and still catch it. And that was a really good catch, too.
What's this all about? Okay, right here, you're dealing. I mean, you're ready to throw this underneath ball.
Yeah.
Right here. And you go with the pump fake. Were you really going to throw it to him?
Yeah, I mean,
it looked like it was
maybe hit him early right there, or just try and move a defender, because I wanted that defender to pin down on Miller, the tight end.
Yeah.
And then kind of let it go to Jaleel over the top.
I thought you were going to just scramble for this sucker. And then.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 3, and that's really my fourth read. Really scramble fourth read. So
this is awesome. These guys know, man, they can get the ball anytime. And they're talking about, hey, man, this guy can't extend plays. What are we talking about here? This is an extended play? On
true.
3rd and 3, this breaks the defense back.
Yeah, true. Some things like that, you see the little things, and people don't always notice, but
that's awesome.
It's all about moving the chains.
Great. Dude, appreciate your time. This was awesome, man. I think you got a bright future. You got all the tools. A team's going to be very happy with you. And, keep grinding, man.
Awesome. Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Appreciate it.
We're here to talk all about Mac Jones at the Darrell K Royal Texas Memorial Stadium with the one and only new head coach of the University of Texas, Steve Sarkeesian. We're at Darrell K Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, your new home. How does it feel, man, in the burnt orange with the hook 'em horns? How you feeling?
You like it?
I actually do. They've always had great gear, so.
No, it's been great. I've always said throughout my career, this has always been one of the, blue blood programs in the country. And there's a lot of great things about the job, clearly starting with the history and tradition of the program. I've always loved the uniforms. I have to admit, these are cool uniforms, man. And we've got a great, just alumni base. It's a great institution, awesome recruiting, area to recruit to. So through it all, just lucky and fortunate that this all came together for me and at the right time. So it's great.
Yeah, you introduced me to so much when it comes to football, but you also taught me about the finite things and important details of playing the position of quarterback. And when I watched you as a coach early in the week, writing down all the plays on the call sheet with a thin expo marker, not the thick expo marker, the thin one, you'd have the personnel, you'd write out the entire play. And sometimes I'd mosey in your office and you're blasting Journey, you're blasting some DJ mix, and boom, you'd sit me down on the couch and say, hey, check this out, Marky. Look what we got on 3rd down. Look what we got in the red zone for you. I'm dialing up these ball plays for you. What do you think? And you would get me so excited for those plays. You'd instill so much confidence. And that's the way it's been through your entire career. I'm looking through these guys, Coach. This is impressive. Carson, Liner, John David bounced around the league for a minute. Me, Jake Locker at Washington, some of the guys you were with at Alabama. I mean, now we're talking about Mac Jones. What is this all about? There's something to you that's following you around. It's the work ethic. It's the standard you set. What is that?
Well, I think one, I get to do what I love to do. I think so many people have to go to work and they go to work.
Yeah.
I'm working, but I get to, I do what I love, and I love what I do. I do think it is important to instill confidence in you guys. I do think it's important that you have confidence in me. right? And if I'm walking in biting my fingernails and really concerned, then you're probably going to feel the same way. And so I really try to feel like there's a level of confidence, maybe a little borderline arrogance involved, maybe sometimes false, just to make you guys feel good. But the reality of it is, you put in the work, you put in the time, you got to believe what you call, and you got to believe in the players to execute them. And I think the flip side of it too is we really try to be as flexible as we can be. Every one of you guys had a different skill set. Carson, 6'5", great arm. The guy felt like a jugs machine. He could just throw and throw. Leinart had such a good feel and was so smart. Jake Locker was such a good athlete. Tua had such a quick release and the instincts. And, Mac Jones was like this just grinder, put in the work, studied, prepared, and then you just start to play to the strengths. You start to figure out, what all of you guys did well, and then keep putting you back in those positions to do the things that you do well while we were working on maybe on some of the other areas that we knew we needed your game to grow in. And so the reality of it is, with success comes confidence. With confidence comes now we can start to branch out more, and it's worked out, year in and year out.
It's really impressive. With Mac specifically, well, before we get to Mac, let's start with the way the game's changed. And we touched on this right before we started the interview, but I only had 3 snaps from the shotgun my entire senior year of playing, or last year of football at SC. Now everything's in the gun. And then the other main difference is this transfer portal. I mean, Mac Jones came in a quarterback class. He was in a quarterback room with Jalen Hurts, Tua, and him. And I mean, he was like an afterthought in most people's eyes. Then you guys get Bryce Young, and now he's bookended by these superstars, and he sticks it out. It's almost like Clay Matthews. You remember at SC, like a guy who had everybody in front of him was 150 pounds soaking wet, and then he sticks it out, gets bigger, works on his body, learns the game. Talk about the way the game's changed schematically to the shotgun, and then Mac Jones sticking it out, and how rare that is.
Yeah, the game changing, it was crazy. I think back to you playing and John David and Leinart and Carson. You guys were never in the gun. I mean, it was like a big deal. It was a treat. It was a big deal to get in the shotgun. And then when I went to Washington and I had inherited Jake Locker, they were a zone read quarterback run team. And so I kind of got forced into the shotgun a little bit, and we just kind of went for it. And then since then came the RPOs, and then now it's the play action pass off the RPOs, and the game is kind of almost evolving back to some degree. But it's funny, through it all, like the plays that have withstood the test of time, we're still running. We're still running plays from 20 years ago, and they still work. Oddly enough, it's amazing.
Seahawk.
It's amazing, like how that all works out for you. So, but I do think you need to adapt. I do think you need to change with the times, or even stay ahead of the times and try to find new areas and new ways to move the football, because defenses are changing too, and there's great coaches, and you have to continue to evolve, and we try to do that. The other part of it is, I think in this day and age, one of the lost traits in all of this, whether it's high school football, even into college football, is this idea of perseverance. And there's something about perseverance that hardens a person, that maybe there's a little bit more grit involved, that appreciates the opportunity when they do get it, that nothing's handed to them. And Mac, a lot like yourself, when you came into SC, it was like, of course you wanted to play. But those 2 years were
probably the best for me.
There was Matt Leinart, there was John David Booty, and now here you came. And by the time it was time for you to play, I don't know if you remember me telling you this, I remember the conversation. I said, Mark, when you play, I don't want you just to play or to play good. I want you to play great. And you did. And it was a 1-year starter, and you ended up being the 5th pick in the draft. And I think for Mac, it was very similar. There was Jalen, there was Tua, and he stuck it out. He just kept working, he kept working, he kept working. And all of a sudden, Tua's going to leave for the NFL draft, and here comes Bryce Young. And I remember having the same conversation with Matt kind of early on was, hey, when your time comes, I want you to play great. And he clearly did. And I do think there's something about earning that opportunity. And when the opportunity presents itself, you take it and you run with it. And both of you guys are great examples of that.
I mean, he just looks so confident when we watch his tape. He's so sure of himself. He knows exactly where to go, and his anticipation that only comes from all that studying you're talking about. It makes so much sense. when you set this standard, now that you're at Texas, and I know you'll establish it here, but you used to tell us we'd wear yellow jerseys at practice and remind us that we wear yellow jerseys not just at practice, but wherever we are. And as a quarterback, you're one of the guys, but you set yourself apart, and you have to hold yourself to a standard, to the point where when I tried to mosey into a team meeting room early in the morning, and I rolled out of bed 10 minutes before, my hair's disheveled, I got sleep in my eyes, and you just, whoom, 5 fingers on the chest, like, where do you think you're going? And you made me go down to take a shower so I looked presentable before the team meeting. At the time, I was like, what a jerk. Like, this guy's an asshole, because I barely knew you. And I'm like, this is crazy. But it instilled in me that idea of, man, this is different. Like, you need to set a higher standard. How do you teach the kids that? Do you tell fun stories like that? Do you remind them of stuff you've been through? Whatever it is, how do you get them to that point, to remind them that now they're wearing black jerseys here, right? I think the QBs, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to be the quarterback. What do you tell them?
Well, I think one is I remind them, you chose to play quarterback. The quarterback position didn't choose you. Sure. You chose a position. And with that, playing quarterback, it's not just about throwing curl routes or slant routes or go routes. It's a full-time job. Your teammates look to you for the temperature of the day, for how we act and who we are, not just in the building, but outside the building. But you also represent not just yourself. You represent this football program. You represent the great players who have played before you. You represent the university. You represent your family at home. You represent your high school team, your high school coaches, because people know who you are. And the reality of it is you have to accept that responsibility. If you can't, it's going to be hard. Yeah. And once you can kind of understand that you show up every day showered, ready to go to work.
Presentable.
That not only is it present, but I think it puts you in the right frame of mind too. Right. That, hey, I'm going to be the best version of myself today. And part of that is get myself cleaned up, coming to work. I'm a professional at what I do. I represent all of these guys. And when you can set that standard, then generally your teammates follow. And again, no position chooses you. And the quarterback doesn't, the quarterback position didn't choose the quarterback. You chose to play quarterback. This is all that is entails, and this is the responsibilities that you incur. And I think the guys get it. They don't always get it early on.
No doubt.
But I think over time, part of my job is to, when you grow up and you get into the real world like yourself, you can look back at some of those moments and be like, now I get it. Yeah. And hopefully you can pass those things on.
I remember saying some of those things later in my career. And, you kind of say stuff that your dad tells you. Well, I used to say stuff that Sark would tell me because of what you instilled in me. So I'd be with Dak Prescott or Mitch Trubisky. And I remember the dog days of training camp at USC, and guys are lollygagging around, and you just pull me aside and say, hey, this practice is the drizzling shits. Pick it up. Let's go. It starts with you, And so I'd grab those guys and remind them, hey, man, footwork sucks today. What's the deal? Yeah. Get on it. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm on it. And there's something to that. So I'm so excited for these young kids here at Texas to get that. What was it about Mac? He sticks it out. He has this incredible year last year, and then it just seemed to grow. The momentum, his confidence, everything. What is an NFL team getting with a kid like this? Like, what should they be most excited about?
Well, I think, they're getting a guy who's NFL ready to play. He's in a very fortunate situation in that, I went and spent 2 years with the Falcons being an offensive coordinator, and then brought back a lot of those, concepts, principles, and incorporated that into an offense that was really well done from a college standpoint and from an RPO and things of that nature. So we got a really good blend. I think that the second part to that is he learned to prepare like he was in the NFL while he was in college. Yeah. And I think it's not going to be so much of the learning curve, of some of the schemes and concepts that are getting ran in the NFL. I think, B, there won't be such a learning curve of preparation for a game because he's already preparing that way. And then thirdly, a lot of it in the NFL, the coordinators have to take their shots. And you never know when those shots are going to be there, but you have to take them. and you have to have trust in the quarterback to make really good decisions, to check the ball down, whatever that may be. And we did a lot of that with Mac this year. We took a lot of shots. And when it wasn't there, he really utilized his checkdowns, his second, third, and fourth reads on plays, and that became very natural to him. It became very normal. There was never any panic to him when that occurred. And I think a lot of those things are going to carry over for him to where the transition is going to help him early on.
Third overall, Mac Jones?
Not my pick. It's not my pick. All these guys want to call me and ask about him or about the receivers and all these guys. Hey, would you take him here? I tell them all the same answer. It's not my pick.
I love it. I love it. Wash your hands of that. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, at Mark_Sanchez, at Fourth and Forever, Instagram, Twitter, all that. You know where to go. Thanks again for having us, and we'll see you soon.